Hi, my name is Valerie Chow, and I'm the Program Director for Internship Program and Civic Engagement in the Career Development Office here at Barnard. I just wanted to say before we begin, welcome everyone, and I hope everyone's staying dry and warm in this weather. It's our first snow of the year, so you guys are getting to see Barnard in the snow and hopefully utilizing our wonderful tunnel system to get around campus. So today we're just going to speak a little bit about internships so this is going to be the agenda for the presentation. I'm going to give you an overview of the Barnard Career Development Office, just to give you an idea of what we do in the office. And then I'm going to give you, some sample programs that we do, and then, a few words about internships, and then internship funding opportunities that we have available at Barnard. And then we're going to turn over to student panel here, and then we're going to take questions from you guys at the end. So what is the Barnard Career Development Office? Our mission for the office is to support women in cultivating a career of their own invention that connects a liberal arts education, leadership, and work-life planning. And we have 14 staff members in the office, including 8 professional counselors, and the 8 of us see students and counsel them. And here are some of the programs that we do at the Career Development Office. We have weekly career development workshops, meaning every week we have a workshop on resume, cover letter, writing, internship, and job search, and then also interviewing. So these workshops are open to all students. They can come and sign up for them at any point. And then, of course, we do career counseling. And I just want to point out first that we have peer career counselors in our office. Kate, one of the student panelists, is actually a wonderful peer career counselor, peer career advisor. And what they do is they are trained in career development skills. They are able to help their fellow students with resume writing, cover letter writing, interview skills, and internship and job search skills. And they're available in the office between 10 to 5 every day. Students don't need to make an appointment to see them. They just come in whenever they want to, and then they can sit down with a peer career advisor and go over the issues that they have. Of course, the professional staff is also available to meet with students for 45-minute appointments. And all students have to do is call our front desk and make an appointment to come in whenever they're free. And what we can do for them is we can talk more in depth about career exploration if your student is not sure what they want to do yet. And in order to do that, we can have the student take a personality test, which is always fun, to see what their interests may translate into in terms of a career. And then we can also, of course, do internship, interviewing, resume, cover letter, things like that. We also do mock interviews in the office where we tape your student while they do an interview, and then we go over the tape together. It's a little bit scary, but it's very, very helpful. So definitely encourage your student to do that if they have an interview coming up. We have an on-campus recruitment program where employers come on Barnard's campus to recruit students for internships and job positions. The biggest event that we do in our office is the career fair, and we do that twice a year. The first one is in the fall. It's in September, and this past September, we had over 100 employers come on campus to recruit Barnard students for internship as well as job positions. And then the next one is going to be in January, so one in the fall, one in the spring. And then same with the January fair, it's going to be, if your student's looking for a summer internship, that's going to be a perfect opportunity to go and talk to some employers, both in the nonprofit and for-profit sectors. And our students are also welcome to attend the Columbia University career fairs, and they have those twice a year as well. So lots of opportunities to meet employers on campus. And then they also come for individual information sessions. For example, we've had Goldman Sachs on campus recently. We've had Teach for America on campus. We've had the Mayor's Office on Long-Term Planning and Sustainability on campus. So, and also varied industries as well for that. Another great program that we run through our office is the MAPS program, which is the Matching Alumni to Partner with Students program. And for that program, there are 3 components to it. The first part is the Alumni to Student Mentoring program, where we match up your student with an alumna in a career industry of her interest, and then that partnership is for the whole academic year. We do events where the mentors and the mentees can come and do an event together, and then they kind of do things off campus together as well. Again, Brittany and Joy, who are our student panelists, are part of the alumni mentoring program this year, so if you want to ask some questions about it, feel free to at the end of the panel. We also have a Careers and Coffee program where we invite Barnard alumni and also other professionals on campus to speak to students about their careers. So for this semester, so far we've had one on fashion, which was very well attended. And then we also have one on finance, one on consulting. We're going to have one on US Foreign Service, because we're going to have a pretty high profile woman who works in the Department of State come and speak to students. And then we're going to have one on work-life fit, which is a very important issue, of course, for women in the workplace. And then the final program under the MAPS umbrella is the Take a Barnard Student to Work Day program, where Barnard students are able to go to the workplace of an alumna and shadow her for 3 hours during a workday, just to kind of get a feel of what it would be like to be, working in a publishing house or working in a courthouse. So it's also in various industries, and it's a great program, and students really enjoy it. We actually had a student who went on the Take a Barnard Student to Work Day event to JP Morgan last year, and they were so impressed with her that they gave her an interview after the event and then hired her. And so she works there now. So it is a great program to consider for students. We also, for seniors, have the Senior Initiative Program, where it's a program to prepare seniors for life after Barnard. And what that is we do intense workshops for seniors, job search in the tough economic market, advanced resume and cover letter writing, and then we assign a counselor to that senior, where the senior is able to meet with that counselor as much as she wants, over the course of her senior year, to really develop a job search strategy and to land her dream job, hopefully after Barnard. And then we do the student employment program through our office. What that is we basically help students with on-campus employment. So if your student is looking for a job on campus, they're able to come to our office, and we are able to help them do that. And over 900 students at Barnard have on-campus jobs. Joy is a student worker in our office, so you can ask her more about that if you'd like to. And then the final program that I wanted to highlight is the New York City Civic Engagement Program, which I run. And it's a program that encourages community service among students. So we had a community service fair on campus back in October, where we had around 30 organizations come on campus to recruit volunteers for the program. We have Barnard Reach Out Days, where it's a day-long community service event for the whole campus and things like that. So it's a really fun program to do. You guys are all here to learn about internships. What is an internship? An internship is basically any career-related learning opportunity for a student. And we all know, in the tough economic market, internships are very important. Not only are your students going to be able to bolster their resume, with experience, they'll also be able to learn a lot of skills from an internship, and, networking is also very important in the tough economic climate. So your student will be able to make a lot of contacts in the industry that she may be interested in, and which will help her to hopefully get a job after graduation. So just to kind of highlight the importance, my student worker last year, she was a senior, and then she was interning at a very prestigious education consulting company the whole year. They paid her, it was a paid internship, so it was great. And then by April, they made her an offer to join the company, and she works there now full time. So a lot of times internships do turn into full-time opportunities, and the skills that the students going to learn from internships are going to be very helpful to them when they are ready to leave Barnard and embark in the real world. So how does a Barnard student find internships? First, I would like to tell you guys about NACELink, which is our online internship and job posting system. We post all opportunities that come to our office on NACELink. And last year alone, in the last 2010 to 2011 academic year, we posted 1,724 internships. So because we are in New York, we do get a lot of opportunities for students, during the academic year as well as over the summer. And it's not restricted to New York either. We have postings for all over the country, and then also international opportunities as well available on our NACELink system. And then, like I said before, we do workshops on internship search every week. So if your student want to learn more in depth about how to find internships, they're welcome to come to our office and attend a workshop. And then networking is very, very important, and we keep stressing that to students. There's a statistic that says like 60 to 70% of jobs are found through networking. So we are able to We do have in our office access to the alumni online directory, where we are able to look up alumni who are in different career fields. So if your student comes to make an appointment with us, we are able to contact alumni on their behalf if they're interested in learning more about, the law industry or education industry or whatever. So, so those are some of the resources that we have available to help students find internships. So a lot of internships these days, unfortunately, are unpaid. So we want to, stress to students that it's not the economic value that you get from an internship now. It's more the economic value that it will turn into it later when you are able to land your dream job. So, but in order to help students who are unable to do an unpaid internship, we do have funding opportunities available at Barnard. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we have. So the first program that we run in our office is the Alumni and Donor-Sponsored Internship Grant Program. And what that is a collaboration between the Barnard Career Development Office and then alumni, individual, and foundation donors who are interested in the career development of college women, Barnard women. So they give us money to give to students to do internships, which is great. The really good thing about this program is that there's no really restrictions on which fields a student is interning in. So I funded students who are working in nonprofit internships, government internships. I funded students who are working at Bank of America Merrill Lynch. If they don't pay you, you're able to apply for a grant for the program. So for last year, we run the program in the fall, spring, and summer. So for the last year, we gave out 147 grants, which totaled up to almost $200,000. So it's a pretty great program with quite a bit of funding for students. So the student who, you have to apply to the program, and if you're accepted, you would get $800 for the fall or the spring semester. And then for the summer, you get $2,000. And then the nice piece of the summer program is for all years past, we've provided on-campus college subsidized housing as well. So if your student is not from the New York area but would like to stay in New York over the summer, we are able to provide them with a dorm room to stay in and do their internship. And it's very highly subsidized by the college. So your student basically pays $200. In the years past, it's been $200. And then they can stay for the whole summer, which is great for New York. And then, so who can apply for this program? Basically, any current Barnard student, currently enrolled Barnard student can apply. Sophomores, juniors, and seniors are able to apply during the academic year. And first years can apply for the first summer after the first year. The reason for that is we encourage first year students to really focus on their academic studies. You should get acclimated to the Barnard, rigorous academics before you really embark on an internship. And that's why this program is not available to first years until after their first year. And we don't really look at GPA or anything like that when we evaluate a student's application. You just have to be in good academic standing. And then it's a merit-based application process. Like I said, a student just needs to write, 3 short paragraphs about, what they're doing for their internship, the substance of it, and then how it connects to their career development. And then we evaluate, and then they have to submit a resume. And then we evaluate the application based on those, submissions. And then a student who is in the program has to do a few grant requirements that hopefully will help them in their career development. They have to go to a couple of professional development events, and then they have to write an internship learning action plans, which kind of get them thinking about what they really want to think, what they really want to get out of their internship opportunity. And this year, we actually are requiring internship supervisors to read the internship learning action plan and to sign off on it, just so everyone's on the same page about what the student wants to get out of the internship. So aside from the general alumni and donor-sponsored internship grant program, there are other programs as well that give students funding to do internships. So the first one is the Guggenheim Foundation Internship Program in Criminal Justice. Our office runs that one as well. And Kate was a recipient of a grant from that program. And what that is this is a program that's a collaboration between Princeton, Barnard, and Columbia. So Princeton, Barnard, and Columbia students are in it. And then you are placed in a criminal justice-related nonprofit in New York City area for the whole summer. You get, I think, $450 per week. And then you do your internship and then come to workshops. And then they went to a site visit this summer to a juvenile detention center, I believe. So it's a really robust program, and it's great. And we work very closely with our Princeton counterpart on that program. And then the second program is the Arthur Lyman Public Interest Undergraduate Summer Fellowship Program, which is a program housed at Yale. And I think Yale students, Brown, Barnard, and then Spelman, I believe, students are able to participate in this program. And it's a summer program that funds students doing nonprofit internships in law. And students who are accepted to the program can attend a symposium at Yale Law School in March, which is a great opportunity for students considering a career in law. And then the last specialized funded internship program is the Con Edison Summer Internships in Science program. And the Lyman program and this program are run by the Dean of Studies office. And the Con Edison basically gave us a grant and said, we really want to encourage Barnard women to do internships in science. And the internships can be in chemistry, physics, and even math, and then education in science and math also would count for that program as well. So it's a great program for somebody who's thinking about science internships. And then there are other sample internship funding opportunities at Barnard and Columbia outside of our office and the Dean of Studies office as well. The first one is the Athena Summer Fellowship Program. That's a program for juniors for their summer internships. And the fellowship program gives $4,000 for a 10-week program, and students can do an internship in basically any area of study. And then they meet weekly to discuss their internship experience. And then we also have research grants from Barnard's biology and chemistry departments to enable students to do research over the summer. We also have a Community Impact Finance and Service Fellowship that's based at Columbia, but Barnard students are able to apply, and that's to fund internships in nonprofit in New York City. And then there's the Weatherhead Undergraduate Training Center, which is a training grant, which is a grant sponsored by the Weatherhead East Asian Institute. And it's for students who are interested in doing a summer project in East Asia. So it can be academic or career related, and it's $2,500 for that. And then the last one is the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship or SURF at Columbia. And that's also another research grant if you're doing something in biology. So there are a lot of different opportunities both at Barnard and Columbia for students who are looking for funding to do something in an internship, either during the academic year or over the summer. So I think I've spoken a long time, so let's turn over to the student panel. And first, I think if you guys can kind of introduce yourself and say your name, your major, where you're from. Yes? Is the program limited to American citizens? No. So those programs that I just went through, international students can also apply and get funding from it. So international students have extra considerations when it comes to internship and work requirements, but these programs are open to international students as well. Okay, so let's just turn over to the student panel, and why don't you guys introduce yourselves? You can say your name, your major, your year, and then we can ask you more questions about internships.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Ostendorf. I am a junior here at Barnard, and I'm an economics major doing the political economy track. I'm a dance minor, and I'm also an Athena scholar.
Good morning, or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brittany Wilson. I'm an environmental science major, Africana studies minor, and I'm pre-med. And I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Kate Bergen. I'm a junior, and I'm a sociology major.
Hi, my name is Joy. I am a senior, and I'm majoring in Spanish and Latin American cultures with a minor in psychology.
Great. So I'm going to ask some questions to students, and then I'm going to open it up to you guys. So the first question, when did you guys start thinking about internships and why? And how many internship positions have you had so far? So anybody?
I actually held 2 internships when I was in high school. And then after my senior year of high school, the summer in between senior year and my freshman year, I kind of took a break and continued that break. I mean, I really used my freshman year here, my first year here at Barnard, to get acquainted with the academics and to find a major that suited me. So I really started considering an internship as a sophomore.
So for me, coming in, I was that crazy pre-med student, and I applied to like every single internship opportunity there was. And I didn't get accepted into anything. So my first summer, I actually just volunteered. But then my second summer here at Barnard, I did an internship with Amgen Scholars doing research with microRNA and COX-2. And then this summer, I also did another internship at the med school doing research, environmental health research. And starting in the spring semester, I'll be working at Harlem Hospital, volunteering and shadowing a doctor.
I started thinking about internships my freshman year of college. I'm actually a transfer student, but during my spring semester, I held an internship at a penitentiary that was 10 minutes away. I went to Bucknell University, and I was a English for a second language teacher for inmates there. And then that summer, I held an internship at a nonprofit organization. And then this past summer, as Valerie said, I had the Guggenheim Fellowship, and I had a criminal justice internship at the Correctional Association of New York.
I started thinking about internships in my freshman year, but I didn't actually have one during the year. So my first one was during the summer after my first year. I really focused on volunteering my freshman year just because I wanted to know what I was interested in doing. So what I would recommend is to just look around at organizations, not just go right into the internship, but just see what you're interested in, what you're passionate about. And since then, I've had about 5 internships during the year or during the summer.
How did you guys find your internships? Did you use the services at Barnard Career Development Office during your internship search process?
So this past summer, I was interning at the Center for Microfinance Leadership at Women's World Banking. I was actually working for a Barnard alumna who put the position on NACELink. And so I've used NACELink a lot to find internships. Also, it's just really good practice to send your resume out and be writing cover letters. And I always have looked at interviews as really like a practice opportunity, whether it's something that I'm really, really interested in or it's just kind of like a dress rehearsal. So that was for this summer, and then currently I'm interning with a private wealth management group at Merrill Lynch Bank of America, and I found that internship not through Barnard, but Barnard Office of Career Development was really helpful in terms of getting me letters to provide to Bank of America saying that I would get co-curricular credit and all of that.
So my first internship with Amgen Scholars was actually through a professor. That's one of the great things about Barnard, being that it's a great small school. You have great relationships with your teachers. So that internship I found through my biology professor. And then this summer, my internship I found through emailing different doctors at Columbia, and then someone finally responded. So although I didn't find my internships through Barnard Office of the Career Development, they were really helpful in the process through making my resume better, also practicing with interviews, and also having mock interviews, and also with funding, because neither of my internships were funded, but they were funded through Barnard.
For this past internship that I had this summer, they sent out a lot of emails. I know they're probably going to be sent out soon about the Guggenheim Fellowship, and I went to the Career Development Center before. I met with a career counselor there. She looked over my resume, and I thought it was very helpful. I work at the Career Development Office now, and I definitely want to utilize more of their services because I know having mock interviews is definitely really helpful. Having someone else look at your resume and cover letter, and just hearing advice from students I think is also very, very helpful.
Another great resource for internships is the career fair. So basically, one of the internships I got 2 summers ago, I literally just handed my resume to an employer and they contacted me and asked me to apply. So really, Barnard really sets up opportunities where you can literally just go in and hand your resume, just go to the career fair. I know a lot of students might be intimidated about career fairs and they might think, oh, I'm a first or second year, I shouldn't be going because I'm not looking for a full-time job. But most of the people at the career fair are actually looking for people to intern with them. And so I just recommend, even if you have no idea what you want to do, and that's fine, I still am kind of, figuring out what I want to do, I just recommend going in there with a polished resume that you work on before with the Career Development Office and just go into one of the career fairs and just give your resume out, even if you don't know whether you want to do that with that particular organization. And then also, I found some of my internships through my own research, and I think that Barnard Career Development Office can really help you, find internships through your own research as well as NACELink.
And I forgot to mention during my presentation that we have a suitable suits program. So if a student wants to go to career fair and want to wear a suit, but they don't own one, we have a closet full of suits in the office. You can come and just check it out. It's free. And then all you have to do is dry clean it before you bring it back. So you can tell your student, there's no excuse not going to a career fair. All right, so the third question for the student panelists is, please tell us about your most recent internship experiences. Where did you intern and what were your responsibilities?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, over the summer I was with the Center for Microfinance Leadership at Women's World Banking. Women's World Banking is a network of microfinance institutions all over the world. The Center for Microfinance Leadership specifically puts on events all over the country throughout the entire year, events like Women in Leadership, and there's a management program, and we're really just encouraging women to rise as leaders in the microfinance industry because it's an industry that specifically serves women and families. My responsibilities were were really supporting those programs. I did a lot of the organizational prep work for the programs that then my boss would go to Jordan and run the program, so I helped her get ready for that. I also did a lot of research on the institutions that were coming to our programs, so I was looking at their financial statistics so that we could have all of that information. At Merrill Lynch, I'm doing a lot of team support. It's a small group, it's only 10 people, so I'm really learning a lot. I get to shadow a lot, sit in on phone calls and meetings, and just kind of be exposed to that industry. My responsibilities range from making copies to looking at performance of certain municipal bonds to, I'm currently actually working on a portfolio reallocation project, so they're giving me a mock presentation or a mock portfolio to manage and to reallocate, and then I'll be presenting that to my team on November 7th. So that's what I'm doing there.
So my internship is at Mellman School of Public Health in the Environmental Health Sciences Department. And basically, my job was to come up with my own research topic, and I looked at how indoor environmental exposures affect exhaled nitric oxide, which is a biomarker for asthma. I'm sorry for all these scientific terms. So my goal as an intern was basically to develop my own project and make it work. So what I wanted to look at was how nitric oxide changed with different exposures. So the first thing I had to figure out was how to measure nitric oxide in mice, and that took me the whole entire summer. And I finally developed a method, and currently I'm still working at the Mellman School of Public Health, and now this position has turned into my senior thesis, which is great because I'm still up there working. So my main responsibilities were basically to come up with my own experiment, make it work, present, go to weekly discussions, and also just be like a fundamental person in the lab. I feel like a lot of students, when you work with PhD students and med students, you think that you're gonna be the person filing papers or doing all the back work, but the great thing about my internship was that I was actually in the lab doing experiments, making up my own topics and things of that sort.
As I said, my last internship this summer was at the Correctional Association of New York, which is a nonprofit organization that focuses on monitoring the prison conditions of all the male prisons in New York State. And on a daily basis, I had to answer letters from inmates that wrote to us basically requesting information that they needed, or maybe complaining about their circumstances. And I was the only person or the only intern that spoke Spanish, so I had to correspond with all the Spanish-speaking inmates. And also, we had surveys that the inmates sent us about their prisons, and we had to input the data from that. And I also did research on mental health issues surrounding prisoners. And I would say the most exciting part of the internship is we got to visit 2 prisons this summer. Basically, it was a full-day facility visit where we went to different programs that they had. We also had to speak to the staff there and talk to the inmates there, so very interesting.
This semester, or this whole year, I'm interning with Teach for America as a campus campaign coordinator. And so basically, in my internship, I'm looking to recruit people on campus to get involved and to try to close the educational gap that exists in this country. And so I have a lot of tasks raising awareness of this issue on campus, but also holding information sessions and meeting with students and talking about applying. But with some of my former internships, there are going to be internships where you have to file and make copies. And although that doesn't sound glamorous, I think it's a really important part of interning is that you're realizing that you might not be doing really, really seemingly important tasks in the beginning. You have to work your way up, and that's just kind of how the real world is. And I think that I wouldn't I would say that even if an internship is like that, I would still recommend looking into that if that's something, if an organization you're interested in. And it's not necessarily like a bad thing, although it might not be the most, impressive internship maybe, but I think it's actually really necessary to build those skills.
All right, so the next question is, Joy alluded to this a little bit already, but what did you learn from your internships, and how do your internship experiences connect to your career goals?
So I'm actually kind of learning through my internships. I guess I'm using my internships as a process of elimination, kind of what I don't want to do when I graduate from school, which is really great and meaningful. But I'm also just developing a lot of skills that I feel like will serve me no matter what industry or what company I end up going to after college. So yeah, I mean, it's really great to kind of try on different fields. Like you get to do an internship and see what's right for you. Right now at Merrill Lynch, I'm really learning that while wealth management might not be where I want to work in 2 years, business development is something I'm really interested in, and I've gained that experience through sitting with the team when they're talking about growing their business and how they're going to do that. Those are the things that I've been really interested in. So I'm starting to look now for internships that kind of have more of those aspects.
I have like a similar story. So like in the beginning, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do MD, PhD, or just a PhD, or just med school. And through doing all this research, I'm realizing that although research is really helpful and important for medicine, I don't think I want to spend my whole life in the lab. So, in addition to like learning really important lab skills, I'm just learning that I do want to go into medicine, but more of a focus on clinical experience and working with patients.
Along the same lines, I think this past summer before my internship, I was really set on going to law school, studying public interest law, possibly becoming some type of immigration lawyer. But after the summer, I realized that I definitely want to explore more opportunities before I, set my career up. I mean, before I go to law school or anything, I definitely want to take time off and take the opportunity to look into different internships just to explore my options, and I think that's really important for students to do.
My diversity of internships have shown me that I don't think there's one career that like I am called to, because statistics show that people change their careers about like 6 or 7 times in their lives on average, and so I think that I've enjoyed many of my internships, so that means that I think it allows me to really look at my future as there's a lot of opportunities, not just like, okay, this is where I'm going and the path is going to be super straight, but I think there's a lot of like going to just be kind of like curves along the way, and so my internship experiences have shown that I don't have one thing that I can only do, and if I don't get that, I'm going to be heartbroken. But literally just kind of learning to like different things and to get excited about different things.
Yeah, I think I definitely echo what the students said. Internship's definitely a great way for students to learn about what they like and what they dislike, and people do change careers all the time. For example, I did. I used to be an attorney before I came to Barnard, so I always relate that to my students and tell them, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do when you're 18. It's okay to take your time and figure things out. So definitely, internship's a great way to do that. The next question is, were your internship positions paid or unpaid? Please tell us about any internship grants or fellowships that you received and the grant fellowship application process.
Unpaid. I babysit a lot.
My internships were also unpaid, and I babysit a lot, and also I applied for the grants through the Office of Career Development, and the people there are so nice. Like one of the guys in the office actually helped me with my application. He read over it, gave me feedback, because they really want you to get these grants as well. So Barnard definitely helped me keep my internships.
This past summer was the only internship that I've had that was paid. As I said, it was for the Guggenheim Fellowship in Criminal Justice. And I would definitely recommend it to any students that are interested in criminal justice issues. I think the deadline is probably around the end of January, and students will probably be getting emails soon about it. Yeah, it's a really good program. Not only do you have an internship, but they definitely set up a network of the Barnard, the Columbia, and Princeton students that are involved in it. You get together a couple times during the summer, talk about our internships, different criminal justice issues, and I think it's just a great way to learn about the field in general.
My internships during the summer were paid. I got a grant from the alumni and donor-sponsored grant program, and I got to stay in the city for paying like $200 for housing for almost 3 months, which was amazing. So I really recommend applying for that. And then also, during the year, I work another job, as Valerie said, at the office because I need to be making money. So the main thing I've emphasized with my supervisors was that I'm a student first and I need to make money, and so I let them know that I had a job and an internship, and so it was really good to open that dialogue and say, hey, I'm a student, I can't be working X amount of hours, just establishing that in the beginning, that the number of hours so that I could always have time to study and also make money.
All right, so this is the last prepared question that we have for the panel, and then we'll open it up to you guys. If you have an internship position or another job position during the academic year, which you all seem to do, how do you balance your internship or job position with your academic workload?
It's tricky. As an econ major and dance minor, I have a very full course load. I'm currently taking 5 classes and interning 2 full days a week. It's hard, but I really recommend if your student is trying to intern during the school year, the best thing you can do is stack your classes, because it's very difficult to be going from class to work to class and have to make that transition during the day. I've really appreciated having Mondays and Fridays just be work, and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays I'm a student. So that's been really helpful. I'm learning some really good time management skills. Like, I'm a student, I'm interning, I also do other things on campus. So learning to make all of those things work is a skill that I know is going to serve me forever, because there's always going to be a million things going on. Yeah, so you learn to time manage.
I'm a senior, and I feel like I still haven't learned the whole time management thing yet. But I'm working on it. So for me, right now, my Fridays are completely free, and that's when I go to the med school to do research. And over the weekends, I babysit. And like for me now, another thing that I do, all my classes are in the morning, and that way, like after class, I go straight to the library. Like there's no more like let's hang out in the Diana or like hang out outside. I just like make myself go to the library early on during the day. That way at nighttime I can rest, wake up in the morning, and just be productive the next day. So I guess like one tip is just to have like one day of the week that's free that you can devote towards your internship. But also remember to make time for yourself. Like don't be that student that doesn't have time for themselves.
Right now I work in the career development office, and I'm also taking 5 classes. This is my first semester actually taking 5. And I'm also training for the New York Marathon, so everything together is kind of difficult to balance, I would say, but I think time management is definitely important. I know I don't have class on Thursdays and Fridays, which is actually really nice. I work on Thursdays and Fridays, and I make sure to get most of my work done in that time, preparing for the next week, just so I get everything out of the way. I would also just recommend to students, don't take on too much, because I feel like, especially at Barnard, a lot of women are very driven, and sometimes they feel the need to take on a lot of different opportunities, which is great, but you also just don't want to overcommit yourself, because I think sometimes people can get overwhelmed with balancing everything.
Yeah, I would agree with Kate. I always recommend that people really value sleep and free time, because although I do have an internship job and classes and clubs and everything, I do find time for myself somehow. And yeah, as I said before, I recommend right at the beginning of your job or internship to really communicate with your supervisor. Like for example, like if I have, during midterms week, I tell my internship advisors in advance saying, I can't come in, I need to spend some time extra studying. And they're very, very usually understanding of that, because they know I'm a student first. And so just to really be communicative with the people who you're working with so that they can be, really supportive of you as a student first.
Just to actually echo on what Kate was saying, one of the most important things I've learned since I've been at Barnard is to say no to some things. I think you get here and like everyone's just saying like, yeah, I'm going to join that club, and yeah, I'm going to take 7 classes, and yes, yes, yes. But like you need, like for your own sanity, you need to learn how to say, no, I can't do that, because if you're going to just be taking all of these things on, you're going to be spreading yourself thin, and you're not going to do anything well. And I think that's something that a lot of students here have experienced at one time or another. It's also, it's hard because like you'll find that every student seems to be able to take 7 classes and do 3 internships and our pre-med and all those things, but it's such a personal limit for every individual, and I think it's really important to figure that out about yourself.
I would like to open it up for questions from the audience. Does anyone have any questions for me or for the panelists? Sure, let's start over here.
We've heard about Youth for America. I don't know if it's appropriate. Could you tell us a little?
Yeah, sure. No, I can be really quick. So basically, it's a national core organization where we send in recent graduates or people who have not recently graduated into low-income communities to teach for 2 years. So yeah, it's basically targeting, there's 43 regions in the United States, and just going in and teaching for a minimum of 2 years and really trying to close the educational gap that exists within low-income and high-income communities.
Yeah, and they come on campus every year to do information sessions and to meet with students. It's a great program. Any other questions? Yes.
During the school year, if you have an internship, like in a paperless business or something, what kind of time expectation do supervisors have? Is it usually 2 days a week or sometimes only 1 day a week?
The students can talk about this as well, but I think it's very varied depending on the internship employer. I have no students who only intern 4 to 6 hours a week, and for the grants, to be eligible for the grant, you only have to do a minimum of 6 hours. I know a lot of internships require 10 to 12. I know a student who's interning 35 hours. She is a senior and she's taken most of her requirements already, so she's taking 2 classes and then interning 35 hours. I don't know how students do that, but there's students who do that as well. But
yeah, I've had friends who have had varying hour commitments. I personally felt that if I was only going to be in an office, especially at Merrill Lynch, I felt if I was only going to be there 1 day a week, I wasn't going to be really in it, if that makes sense. I didn't feel like I was going to be getting the full experience. It's also, it's such a personal thing. Like, I know one student who was working for Marc Jacobs, and that's what she wants to do. And she, in a way, she almost values that more than her academic education. She feels like that is where she wants to be. So she's interning 5 days a week and just making that work somehow. I've had friends who have interned just for one afternoon a week. It really varies. It's also very dependent upon the industry. Most fashion internships, they want you, especially during fashion week, you're kind of selling your soul to them. So it just kind of depends.
For me, doing research, my job is just to get my experiments done within within a good amount of time. So usually a Friday is enough for me, and if need be, I'll go in on a Saturday to finish up an experiment. But it's not as much as a time commitment. It's like a fashion intern.
Since I work at the career development office, this semester I can kind of have more flexibility, I feel like, with my hours. I work 3 days a week, but only 2 hours for each of those days. So I think it's pretty manageable with class time and everything.
Yeah, for me, I've done more education and kind of nonprofit internships, and I've literally done 2 hours a week one semester, and then now I'm doing around 4 to 6. And so it's definitely possible to find internships where you're not selling your soul. But yeah, but it does depend on the industry, I know. Yeah.
Yes. So something about substitute, if you get an internship and you can get grant money, substitute that for work studies so that you can work more at the internship?
Yeah, so if you're on federal work study, we do have some off-campus partners who hire federal work study students. For example, I think the Metropolitan Museum of Art hires students who are on federal work study. Joy can really speak to that because she works for my colleague who's in charge of the student employment program.
Yeah, if you have more flexibility with the federal work study. So basically there's 2 kind of job awards. One's Barnard College Job Award that you can only use on Barnard, so on Barnard's campus, so that's not really, I guess, for internships, but federal work study you can go off campus and at Columbia. But the majority of people who have work study awards use them for jobs, on-campus jobs, like working in the library, working in the career development center. But yeah, there are some opportunities with the federal work study.
And with that said, I've also had a friend who volunteered in a lab at the med school, but it was paid through work study.
Yes.
Do varsity athletes have time to do internships?
I don't know if any of you guys are varsity athletes, but I have met with students who do sports and then do internships at the same time. So I think, it's just a matter of finding the right balance again. Maybe finding an internship employer who's more flexible about, doing stuff off-site that you can send in, which is very popular these days as well. So yeah, I think it's just depending on your schedule. It is possible. make it work.
Are there internship opportunities available to students studying abroad?
Oh yes, so I forgot to mention this new program that we have. So we actually are launching a new program called Barnard Beyond the Gates this spring semester. So what that is we are going to pair students who are studying abroad in, I think we're starting with 5 cities, with internships offered by Barnard alumni. So that's going to be a great program. I think the pilot cities are Paris, London, Barcelona, and then Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, I believe. So we're going to start there with 5 cities, and then students who are going abroad in the spring are able to apply and, if they want to, do an internship as well as studying abroad. We think it's going to be a great program. It's going to get the students some international work experience and see what the work culture in the foreign country is going to be like. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
I also want to add that I studied abroad last semester in Ecuador, and although I didn't participate in that program, my program allowed me to kind of find an internship, and it was really because I was just teaching English to little kids in a school, and so there are a lot of opportunities that might be more like informal, but when you go abroad to talk directly to the program, because a lot of programs now are integrating community service and direct involvement in the community that you're in. So even if maybe your daughter wants to go somewhere that's not those places, that there are definitely opportunities that you should talk with specifically with the study abroad program.
Yeah.
I'm a transfer junior, so I just came to school on a varsity athlete, and my question is going abroad in the summer to do an internship, because obviously coming in so late here, I can't go abroad and take classes if I get 2 credits like that. What are your ways to help students like that who just want to go abroad and do an internship maybe in a country, like I want to look in Africa and do psychology or human services?
Yeah. We do have resources that we can guide you to in our office. For example, we just recently paid for this service, I'll just say, called Going Global, and it's going to be available to our students very shortly. And what that is a website where you go on it, and then you can see internship opportunities available all around the world. So there are several resources like that we do have in our office, but depending on where you want to go, you should definitely come in and speak to one of us, and then we can kind of do a more tailored search with you together. Any other questions? Yes.
I'm just curious. You all spoke about your experiences with, and especially Joy, you spoke about how to negotiate the hours, those kinds of circumstances at the beginning. But in general, what type of supervisor do all of you most appreciate with each of your internships?
You mean like personality traits, or?
Not necessarily personality traits, but did you like someone that was more hands-on and kind of really care about your experiences, about your life as a student, that was really inspiring into your personal life, or was it more just this is the task, do it, and you don't get that?
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean, I've been really lucky with the supervisors that I've had, and they've been very, very involved in giving me a learning experience and not just giving me tasks to do. When I was at the Center for Microfinance Leadership, because they do programs that are they train managers how to be good managers, they really know these skills. And so at the beginning of my summer internship, my supervisor sat down with me and was like, how do you like to work? And she really talked to me about how I thought that I would be successful there, which I found to be really helpful and really effective. At Merrill, just the fact that they're giving me a portfolio project to work on, I think is pretty cool. And they're really committed to giving me a hands-on experience. They're also, typically you'll find that people who have internship programs or who often have interns in their office, they really want you to ask questions and they want you to come to them. They love talking about what they do, so give them an opportunity to do that.
So for me, just for me, I work in a lab at the med school, and although my mentor, he's really hands-on, he's constantly busy and abroad and giving lectures and stuff. So I've just learned to build a relationship with other people in the office, such as graduate students and PhD students. So it varies by location.
This past summer, I had a group of other interns that I worked with, and I felt like I could kind of work with them and ask them questions about what we're supposed to do after our supervisor gave us a task. We could definitely ask her questions, but it's also more comfortable to, I think, to talk to other interns and develop a relationship with them as well.
And even though it's very important to have a supportive supervisor. I've had supervisors that really allow you to be more independent, and though it's at first it's kind of scary, like you're going to grow more in those ways when they're not holding your hand saying, okay, now you do this, now you do this. But if they give you a project that you're working on and you might not be communicating with them every day that you're there, it helps you grow a lot in your skills.
Yes, one of our biggest pieces of advice that we give to students with internships is take initiative. When you get to your job, you do what it's told, but you take initiative. If there's nothing to do for that day for some reason, go and ask for work. If you have an idea for a project that you think would be great for your department, go and tell your supervisor. And supervisors really do appreciate things like that. A lot of students are kind of scared and they don't want to bother their supervisor because they're so busy and stressed out. But I think that it really pays dividends down the line. Like, just take initiative and offer your help.
Also, I found that in both my offices, actually, even in like small office environments, like email is big, and like even if you're sitting next to someone, like they'll often email you, which sounds kind of absurd, but from an intern standpoint, like I think it's less intimidating to email the person who's sitting 5 desks down from me about a project I'm working on versus speaking about it. So like that's definitely something that can be utilized because they do that too. So it's like you're not at a disadvantage there.
Okay.
How do Barnard
sorry.
prepare you for sexual harassment?
Oh.
What's the question?
How did Barnard prepare us for sexual harassment in the workplace? It's definitely talked about a lot, and so it's something that like I, as a Barnard student, am very aware of. I'm also a member of the Greek community, and it's something that we often talk about. And I was a consent facilitator with the Consent is Sexy program that happens at the beginning of the school year for new student orientation program. I would say in general it's something that is talked about a lot on campus. As far as sexual harassment in the workplace goes, that's something that I think I've been exposed to. As an Athena Scholar, we're required to take Women in Leadership, which is a seminar course here, and we talk about it a lot in that class. Luckily, it's never something I've really come into contact with, and I don't think, I can't speak in general. From my experience and from my friends' experiences, it hasn't been a problem.
When things like that come up, we take it very seriously. We've had, I haven't personally had to deal with that issue myself, but I know my director have had, students come and say that there's inappropriate things happening at their workplace. And what we do when we get those complaints is we go straight to our general counsel's office and tell them, the issue, and then we deal with it from there. The employer will be disabled in NASLIC immediately. They cannot recruit on campus anymore, and then we go from there, and then we talk to the student to see what further action she may want to take against the employer, if any. So we do take those complaints very, very seriously. Yes?
Many of the internship experiences appear to be here in the metropolitan area in New York State. How does the office support activities outside of Maine and say on the West Coast, for instance?
Yes, so we definitely have opportunities posted on NASLING from all around the world and all around the country as well. For example, for the summer internship grant that I run, you can do an internship anywhere, and then we can give you a grant. So we actually have a grant within the program that's specifically for students interning abroad, and then we have students interning all over the country as well. So I think in that way we are supportive of opportunities everywhere.
I'm from Los Angeles, and I often look on NASLING for specific Los Angeles postings, and they do exist. And also a lot of the companies that come on campus to do on-campus recruiting, like Google was here a few weeks ago. Their big internship program is in Northern California. It's not in New York. So there's definitely those opportunities here.
Yes.
You all have a variety of experiences. Overall, in general, though, are a lot of the internship programs with multiple interns where a number of students are there, and if so, are these other fellow Barnard students or from other schools, or most of the programs individual?
I think it varies by internship. I know for me, I'm doing research at the med school, and I'm the only Barnard student there because for the most part, it's just med students and other Columbia undergraduate students. So for me, it's just a different experience. I'm the only Barnard student and the only intern there in the office.
I worked with a group of interns this summer, but from varying colleges, but my supervisor actually was a Barnard alum.
I've had a few internships where I was the only intern, and I think that was really valuable for different reasons because I had a lot of independence and it was a very unique experience, but then there's also a really great part of having other interns with you, kind of going through the same thing, you know, working together. So it definitely varies, but you should be able to know when you're applying what kind of people are applying to that, so whether it's open to Barnard students or whether it's popular. And so I think you should, when you're applying, you should probably have a good sense of, you know, who's applying and how many interns would be working with you.
Over the summer, I was the only undergraduate intern in my specific office, but there was also a SEPA intern in my office, and that was at the Center for Microfinance Leadership. But Women's World Banking had interns from Princeton, Brown, some high school interns, like it was varying. In my group at Merrill Lynch, there's one other intern, and he is a junior at Stern at NYU. But actually, he started like a month after I started, so because I've been there longer and kind of more experienced within the team, I've actually gotten some really good leadership opportunities where I'll be working on a project and I'll get to delegate to him, and those are just like good qualities I think to learn in general.
How did you feel about that?
I haven't asked.
Anything else? Yes.
It might be difficult to break it down in the number of internships, but how do they break out for students who are interested in music and arts as opposed to law?
Yeah, so we don't unfortunately have specific exact numbers, but because I run the internship grant program, I do get a sense of where students are interning, and we do have a lot of students interning in music and arts. There are a lot of pre-law students, of course. It's a liberal arts school, but in music and arts, people have interned in all different museums in the city. One of our peer career advisors interned at the Lincoln Center over the summer, and then we had students interning at the Met, we have students interning at Christie's, Sotheby's, everywhere. So I think because we are in New York, and you know the art scene in New York is so wonderful, and there's so many opportunities that there are definitely a lot of students interested in that industry. And we do have grants specifically for students interested in arts, so that's very helpful as well.
As a dance minor, I was at one point interested in arts administration and thinking that might be a direction I would go into. And I actually found a lot of postings on these link things for like small independent dance companies looking for an intern, because they don't have huge budgets and interns are free labor. So there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of work.
Any other questions? Okay, so I just wanted to remind everyone that the family gathering is now in the Diana Center lobby because of the wonderful snow that we're having. And so please head over there and enjoy some cider and donuts. But thank you very much, and we'll be here to answer some questions.